On this episode of Florida Roadside Attractions and Abandoned Places, I return to Levy County. Heading into the Goethe State Forest. And it's finally warmed back up here in Florida. 71 degrees currently, blue skies. It's a great day, a beautiful day for a roadside adventure. And I'm really just passing through the Goethe State Forest. I've been here a couple times before. We've been here on this series. I just finally learned how to pronounce Goethe. I've been saying Goethe all these years, and no one has corrected me. Passing through the Goethe State Forest this morning because I saw something off the side of the highway here. This is Highway 336, Levy County. There's an old shack back here, maybe an old house. Look at this. That place is old, seen better days. I'm gonna take a look. Oh wow, yeah. Looks like it, yeah, I think this was an old house. You can see the front porch of where it used to be right here. I'm gonna go inside, gotta be careful though. Looks like the floor is caving in. Be very careful. You can see all the way through. I'm gonna go all the way through. Wow. Here's a room to the left. Look at the ceiling. This is in the middle of the state park. Yeah, I'm gonna watch my feet here. Don't want to fall through the floor. Yeah, this is this may even be late 1800s, at least early 1900s. It's an old mattress. Definitely an old cracker shack. Crawl space down there. What a relic. Yeah, ooh, getting soft right here. Did at one point have power. Old fixture there. Also, I see ductwork, maybe the old fireplace out there, or wood-burning stove. I don't think I showed this room. Actually, I'm going to walk out this way. The old foundation here, the bricks. Underneath, could be animals living under here. Could be one there. I don't know. Do you see something? Here you go, stepping back. Ooh, watch your step. It's a forgotten shack in the middle of the forest, really. Although it's just right by the road. It's winter. During the summer, I bet you can barely see it. More leaves on the trees. I just happened to catch this about a year ago. I was driving by here and I marked it on my map. Welcome back to Florida Roadside Attractions and Abandoned Places. I am Tampa J, and today I'm heading over to the Crystal River area, or should I say down. There is a historical archaeological site, some Native American burial mounds that I have been dying to check out. I want to check this out. We've checked out burial mounds before. We've gotten into the history of the indigenous native people here in Florida, and also other places. Thought I heard something over there. I think we're okay. But this has been on my list for a long time. Also, we're going to see some things along the way and maybe revisit something I haven't been to in a couple years. Thanks for joining me. There's much ahead. The Crystal River Archaeological Site is the name of the park we're going to. It's just a little ways off of Highway 19 near Crystal River, just north of downtown. I mean, look at these trees and look at this sky. Wish we had this every day. I say that like we don't, but lately it's been really cold here in Florida. You know, you've been watching the news. And we begin off at 19 here. This sign, check this out. Got some history. I return almost 7 years later to the Follow That Dream Parkway. I'll just read the sign for you here. In July and August of 1961, Elvis Presley filmed his 9th major motion picture, Follow That Dream. Several locations in the area were utilized, the majority of scenes being shot just a few miles ahead at Bird Creek Bridge. I shot an entire video on these filming locations back in 2018, but I have not been back to this bridge since. I'm going to revisit this location. I'm anxious to see what it looks like today. This is Ingles, Florida. We're going to check out a couple spots here and then get back on 19 and head to the archaeological site. And shortly after leaving that last spot, I made a hard right into the Chamber of Commerce here in Ingles. This was not here 7 years ago. Look at this. Elvis Presley and Follow That Dream. The beach behind him. We're about to go to this spot. It's really cool that they put this up here. That guardrail, I recreated this same moment in the movie that Elvis is doing right there. That's really cool to see. We're about to see this spot, so take a screenshot. It'll last longer. Also, they've put here, this is new to me. Elvis Presley spent July, August of 1961 in the area, filming his 9th major picture, Follow That Dream. And it says the same thing it says on the sign over there. And then on the front porch of the Chamber of Commerce, look at this. We've got the king. Hail to the king, baby. Huge fan of Elvis Presley. Yeah, thank you very much. Would have loved to put these in that old video. I'm glad they put these out here. Really cool. So we're about to go to that spot right there. So as was last time I was out here. And in Follow That Dream, there's people fishing from atop of the bridge, just like Elvis was in the movie. He was actually fishing right off the side of this bridge. Now this bridge has been changed out, renovated many times the past 70 something years, almost 70 years. But it is the same location. And there's a famous picture of Elvis that I recreated of him and his co-star Julianne Moore sitting right here on the rail. I created that in my last video. It's really over here. Now it's all grown up. This is where they had all the sand. This is where the Quimple family camped out. And this is where Elvis sang the title track, Follow That Dream, very famous scene. This was before they moved to the cabin. But it was filmed all right out in here. I remember matching up several screenshots the last time I was out here. Specifically the one of Elvis sitting right here on the end of the rail. They've swapped out this guardrail a lot. It's actually new from the last time I remember seeing it. It's different. Here's a sign posted on this palm. This is technically Felburn Foundation Preserve. It's still kind of flat down here. None of these palm trees, maybe one of them, was sticking up out of the sand as they were filming those scenes. You could see clear back to the water. They made it seem like it was on the beach. It was right here on this like intercoastal river just down from Inglis. Elvis Hollow ground right here, covered with palms. Filming location. Pretty cool. Also, Elvis was up here in the middle of the bridge fishing at one point, as these people are over here today. Yeah, he caught a big fish, now that I remember. Big fish right up here. So the last time I was out here, I concluded that the rail and these poles are still in the same place as the rail that Elvis was sitting on in this same location all those years ago. And here's this picture I just took up back down the road. And the end of the rail, as it is kind of here today, you can see behind Elvis water and a beachy area. Also, that's his co-star Julianne Moore down there. This was taken about right here. Follow That Dream. It was really cool tracking those spots down. I'll put a link to that video in the description below if you want to see all the locations here in Florida. Elvis actually stayed in a motel in Crystal River for the duration of that filming. It was about 3 months he was a Floridian here. And that is the time when he visited Weeki Wachee, the mermaid show, went to the hot dog stand over in Brooksville. That was all during the filming of this movie. It's really cool to revisit this spot here. Very pretty. It looks like they have redone the bridge since the last time I was here. Follow That Dream. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. Check it out. And now back on the Follow That Dream Highway back in Inglis. Saw this old building here. Just kind of, wow, all boarded up. The roof's caved in over here. Don't know what this used to be. Do see no trespassing. Just kind of walking in front of it. Looks like it used to be an old storefront. Several stores. It's like, what kind of stone is that? It's like almost like sea rock. Motorcycles. See a lot of motorcycles. Yeah, someone's thrown some rocks up there. I see no trespassing everywhere. All right, let's head back to the car. I am back on Highway 19 headed south. I am about 11 miles from Crystal River. We are now in Citrus County, much ahead. And I cannot come to Crystal River without saying hello to an old friend. Crystal River to most people is known as the Manatee capital of the world, or of Florida, but to me, it's home to Florida Kong. And it looks like Mr. Kong does not celebrate Valentine's Day. Poor teddy bear. I've gotten this guy in the video several times over the years. The last time I was out here was with Chris the girl a couple years back. We were driving home from the Panhandle. This is currently GS Auto Towing. When I first came out here several years ago, this was a restaurant. Now it's a towing service. I've always just called him Crystal River Kong. Don't know if he has a real name. I think I've asked this question before. There are several of these molds across America. He is a roadside giant. He's one of my favorites, and he's been painted since the last time I've been out here. He's got blue eyes now. Blue-eyed Kong, and he hates Valentine's Day. All right, yeah. Good to see you, my friend. I'm gonna take a couple pictures, got to. And now south of downtown Crystal River off of 19. This is on the east side of the road. This is the old Crystal Square shopping plaza. As you can see, not being upkept. I remember this place having business many years ago. Looks like it got hit by the storm. Would have been Milton and Helene, more so Helene, I believe. Looks like someone is renovating it currently, which is the parking lot's all grown up. Just wanted to point it out that this area got hit by the storm. Yeah, this looks like storm damage up here. Looks like this used to be a bar. Check this out. Three Daughters Brewing, Florida Avenue Brewing, oh, local beer. This is about 5 miles from the archaeological site where we're going. Need to use the bathroom. And somehow I got the wrong coordinates in my phone. It wanted me to go across the river from the state preserve, like through the Crystal River campground to get to where I'm going. That's not possible, only if I had a boat. So it's going to cost me about 15 minutes to go back out down 19 and get on the correct road that takes me to the archaeological site. Whoops. The internet. It happens. Alright, I'm now on the correct road. This is actually State Park Street, Crystal River Archaeological State Park, Crystal River Preserve. 2 miles up. We are now on the north side. I just blew right past this place. Crystal River Kong, just up there off of 19. This is the Days Inn. I've actually stayed here before. The first time I ever came to Crystal River, this was way before the channel ever started. I stayed the night right here because the next morning I took my first ever Manatee boat tour out on Kings Bay right there at that very Manatee encounter. I'm gonna go over there. I forget the name of it. Crystal River Water Sports. We swam with the manatees, and I did. Very, very briefly. Kings Bay is the only place in Florida, maybe in the world, where you can legally swim with the manatees. I took the boat out right out here. And that was almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And that may very well be the exact pontoon boat, one of those that I went out on Kings Bay to swim with the manatees. That was a cool experience. I'll have to do that again sometime. Geez, it's a beautiful day. Have I mentioned that? Check it out. It's a Florida jungle. So we're about to cross over this river. Actually, I remember crossing underneath this on boat. Someone left some flowers there. This is the path out to Kings Bay from where we left on the boat. Crystal River Archaeological State Park. Closes at sunset. Park opens at 8 a.m. It says it right over here. All right, here we go. It doesn't look too busy. And there is an admission fee. It looks like $3 per vehicle, $2 per pedestrians. I don't have any cash, but they do have a QR code. And paying for parking was easy as 1, 2, 3. Using the Florida State Parks website, the QR code took me right there. I spoke too soon. There's a lot of folks out here enjoying the archaeological site, just like me. Hey, it's a beautiful day, don't blame them. Got a nice little parking lot here before the park. Check this out. So this building, as you saw, I believe is the entrance. Crystal River State Archaeological Site, a sacred pre-Colombian ceremonial mound complex. So this is before the New World, before the conquistadors came over. Oh, looks like there's a guest book. And I just have to point out that the last people that signed in are from Liverpool, England. Okay.
If you go out the door that's behind this wall, you're heading down this path toward Mound A.
Okay.
Mound A is a temple mound, as is this mound up here. They're made of oyster shells and sand. And this is the one that has stairs to the top, and you get a beautiful view of Crystal River from there.
Okay.
You're going to pass 2 midden mounds. It's an archaeological word for trash mounds. Oh. They have broken tools, broken pottery, and the bones from the meat and fish they ate. Also shells. So we have 2 midden mounds, 2 temple mounds, and we have 2 burial mounds. C is the oldest, dates back to about 1,000 years BC. These people were here from 1000 BC to 1000 AD. The history of Native Americans in Florida comes from the Spanish who arrived here about 1500, so we don't actually know who these people were.
Okay. That was my next question. That's very fascinating. Thank you.
Yep, Gainesville. Up in the front we have rock things like arrowheads and rock tools, things along those lines.
Wow, this place is really nice and awesome. I didn't expect to see all this today. We've got many artifacts, things to look at right off the bat, a scale model of what the mounds would have looked like, pottery found on site. This right here is actually, this was pulled out of a river north of Gainesville. This is a prehistoric native artifact. Look at this. It says right here, prehistoric dugout canoe recovered from Lake Geneva, Florida. Look at that. That's pretty incredible. And a bunch of pictures on the wall, paintings of what life may have been like here among this tribe. So yeah, from 1000 BC to 1000 AD, she said. Now, I visited the mounds in Safety Harbor, shown those many times. Those were the toboggans. I'm seeing some similarities here, not too far from Tampa Bay. Maybe they were related to the toboggans. Model of Crystal River site about 1300 AD. Looks like the hut is on the mound out there by the water. Look at that. So yeah, we're about to go see this in real life, what it looks like today. So Weeden Island is on the St. Pete side of Tampa Bay. It's a nice park. A lot of people like to go out there and kayak. These pieces of pottery were found out there. This is called punctuated. I get it. There's holes in it. And then over here, it says painted. They have more full-figured pieces down here. It looks like they've created or recreated. Santa Fe County, found in Dalton. found in Alachua, Putnam. This map's really cool. It says cultural relationships of Crystal River, and you can look down there, you see Mexico, and we know that the Mayans and the Aztecs were pyramid builders. And then you see the arrow going up here to the Illinois St. Louis area. When I was a kid, I visited the Cahokia Mounds with my grandfather just outside of St. Louis, and they were mound builders as well. And then also you see the arrows going back and forth to Florida. So what it's saying here is that perhaps they think that all of these people were related and they were travelers. That's really cool. I always thought that. I always wondered if there was any relationship between them. Formative influences from Mexico started the Andina Hopewell culture around Illinois and modified the Deptford culture of Georgia. Well, look at that. That's amazing. Between 600 and 700 AD, late in the Weeden Island period, the first temple mounds were brought by diffusion from Mexico.
This trade network is called by archaeologists the Hopewell Interaction Sphere, named after the Hopewell site in the Ohio River Valley. Deptford peoples, like the related Weeden Island and Safety Harbor peoples that follow.
Clarence B. Moore conducts earliest excavations in 1903 after conducting reconnaissance of other Florida Gulf Coast sites. Clarence B. Moore steamed up the Crystal River in his paddle wheel houseboat. He landed at the large shell mound on the bank of Crystal River. Upon exploration of the surrounding area, he discovered a mound complex. Moore mapped the entire site and assigned major letter designations to the mounds. His excavation of the conical burial mound C, E, and F revealed many of the artifacts displayed in the visitor center today. So there you go, the man who discovered the mounds.
And during the Weeden Island and Safety Harbor period, to attend ceremonies staged on the platform or temple mounds. On the river's edge, at the south end of the archaeological site, rises a shell temple mound 30 feet tall.
All right, that was a nice presentation. Learned a lot. Fascinating. We've got the map also on the back, the descriptions of each of the mounds. This is just beautiful out here. Crystal River, right through the trees. And we're going to head to the first mound. And right here before the path, blacktop path, by the way, very nice. Mound out there, and this right here is the Stele 2. The ramp from the second temple mound points directly at this undecorated stele. And then there's a second one out here that the gentleman in the presentation, the ranger, was pointing out that the people had painted a picture of a person on the second one that we'll see today. So this is a huge chunk of undercoated steel. That's amazing. And check out all the shells down here. This was placed out here by man. So the mound out here is actually several mounds, and they kind of loop around each other. And it's explaining here that these are the burial mounds. So this would be on the map here, F, E, D, and C. You can kind of see the mound starting to take shape right here. The first one is C, and then it goes up into D, E, and then on top, the peak of this mound is considered F. And it says that this is the burial complex constructed mostly of sand with some shell, has a layout that resembles burial sites in the Ohio River Valley. I can contest to that. Newcastle, Indiana, which is kind of in the Ohio River Valley. I've showed it before. Chris and my mom were there the last time I showed it. Outside of my high school was a similar kind of thing going on, but much, much smaller. It goes on to say the Crystal River site is the southernmost site in the United States currently known to have used the burial mound layout. That's pretty fascinating. All right, guys, I'm going to warn you, if you come out here, wear bug spray. I'm getting eaten up. I always remember the no-see-ums here in Crystal River are no joke. There's a lot of no-see-ums and mosquitoes attacking me right now. It goes on to say that burial mounds, much like prehistoric cemeteries, these mounds contain human remains. So there are, in fact, human remains out before us. So we come here in respect to these spirits and we leave the same. Make sure we let them know we appreciate them letting us be here. I'm happy they're preserving this. This is very cool. I've always wanted to come check this out. Very exciting stuff for me. Love this stuff. And I'm walking over to Mound G. I'm kind of going clockwise. Sand burial mound G. Here it talks about it. Okay. Yeah, it's up before me up here, but they're already talking about it. This burial is located here, shared little in common with those from the main burial complex on the other side of the plaza. The people buried here had no elaborate grave goods, but were laid to rest with shells, bone tools, and pottery. However, radiocarbon dating suggests the sand burial mound and the main burial complex were in use at the same time. What could account for this difference in burial customs? Question mark. And this is Mound G right here. The sign back there I was just reading. It's the first mound from the building. Also a burial mound. Bunch of trees popping out of it. You wouldn't know it's a mound because you're just kind of walking by it. And out there was the other burial mound we just saw. Mound F, E, D, and C. Also a bench right here. Wow, yeah. And then off to the next one, which is just around the bend. You can see the palm trees just kind of growing up before it, the incline and the hill, the mound. I feel at peace out here, very peaceful place. It's a shame we don't know much more than what we already know about these people. But really cool that they are related to the tribes of Mexico and Ohio and Illinois. It just furthers what we've always been taught, that we're all related somehow. Always loved archaeology, fascinated. That's a big mound. Wow. Now, I don't know if we're allowed to walk up on there. I don't think so, but it looks like people have. So this right here is Mound H. On my map here, this would be right up there. And it says flat top mound and plaza. Imagine watching a sermon speech or performance atop of the mound as you stand among members of your family and community in the flat open plaza. Native people use this 12-foot high platform mound in the plaza or open space behind you for rituals and festivities. So right out here, flat part, and the performances on top of the mound. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, it's a theater. There you go. And on the back of my map here, it goes to say about Mound H. Early in the study of the Crystal River site, connections with Mesoamerica were theorized. However, there is no archaeological evidence that proves the population of Crystal River site had any connection with Mesoamerica. The low flat mound is unique and one of the best preserved in the southeastern United States. Yeah, definitely a straight line there. And the mound I'm walking straight toward is Mound K. You can see it starting to take form. Look at the sun shining through the limbs. The Spanish moss. It is beautiful out here. It's 72 degrees. Feels perfect. So Mound K and J, which is over here. Another mound right there. Recent investigations revealed evidence that a single deposit of shell placed on top of a previously built platform mound forms what we see as Mound K today. It is pretty flat like the other one we saw. Mound J remains less understood, but it is a shape typical to other small midden mounds throughout Florida. So a midden mound, says it right here, the remains of everyday life that have been discarded and built up. So basically the trash mounds. This is where they discarded all their stuff. Animal carcasses, bones, trash, you name it. Pieces of pottery, broken pottery, charcoal. So even the prehistoric people had a dump. Of course, you got to put your stuff somewhere. Place to call home. Midden area. And it shows right here artifacts, pictures of artifacts found in this very spot. Drilled bear teeth, gopher tortoise bone, bone bead, carved shell pendant, dog jaw bone, wild turkey bone, drilled shark's teeth, carved shell pendant. And it goes on to say what's for dinner here. The mounds and midden around you are made up of mostly oyster shell, indicating that the oyster was a major food source and building material for the people who lived in Crystal River. People here also relied on hundreds of different species of plants, fish, reptiles, and mammals for their meals. How many different sorts of plants and animals do you think the average person eats today? That's a good question. I don't know. It's just a really pretty spot. I think I came at the right time. Sunset really lights the place up. And you can see over here the steps of our next mound, Mound A. And as we're walking up to the Temple Mound, I'm reminded of the Tocoboggan Mound in Safety Harbor in Philippi Park that I've been going to for years. I remember taking my grandpa up there as he was visiting one Christmas. Took him out to that park to show him the mound. We climbed to the top. He was fascinated. And he always used to tell me, my grandpa was big in archaeology of prehistoric people, specifically in the Midwest. He always thought that the pictures that represent the natives here in Florida, they're always wearing like loincloths. They never have long sleeves. They never have pants on. He always thought that that was incorrect. His theory was it's Florida. Even the Seminoles wore long sleeves, and his theory was it's Florida. They would have been wearing long pants and sleeves, and I'm dealing with it right now because I am getting mosquito bites, and he always thought that was kind of funny. He felt like they wore clothing. They didn't. Maybe during the summer they took layers off to swim and fish, but he always felt like they should have been more depicted with clothing, whether it had been hide from animal or whatnot, or just made out of anything really. He just thought that was kind of unusual. That was his expert opinion. I mean, this is incredible right here. Sun out all over the Gulf, lighting it up right here. Beautiful. And we can go up there, a view from the top. I'm going to read this first though, Mound A. Looks like he's blowing the conch shell there. It says Mound A, much like an arena or a stadium in a big city, Mound A served as a symbol of grandeur that would impress visitors to this site. And it makes sense. They built it right on the river. Great view. From the flat top of the mound, public performances, speakers, or ceremonies would have been on display to those below, while also providing those on the mound with a commanding view of the surrounding area. And look, they have a little map here with the ramp, size of mound today. Also the marsh out here, original size of mound. So they're saying it's been washed out, so it would have been a lot bigger. Pretty steep, steeper than I thought it would be. A lot steeper than the Tocoboggan Mound in Safety Harbor. All right, you guys ready? Let's go to the top. Start counting. Old wooden steps here. Not too bad, not too steep. They look more intimidating than they actually are. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it roll. All right, maybe not all the way up. There you go. Look back. Little POV step action here to the top of the mound. Nice little deck up here. Wow. Woo! I haven't eaten today. That's probably a good thing. Wow, this is awesome. They got 2 benches up here. Oh wow, what a view. Look at that. Now that's a nice place to watch the sunset. And I guess you could, depending on what time of year it is. Wow, and this was a place that they could watch people coming in from sea, intruders or whatnot, so that makes sense to me why they would want to build this right here. Hear a boat coming. This reminds me a lot of Philippi Park. Some people down there on the seawall. Some people down there on the seawall, boat going. Alright, I've said this before, and I'll say this again. You guys ready? This is real Florida. Wow. Beautiful. I'm getting eaten alive up here, man. I should have brought bug spray. I think I may have some in my car, but it's just one of those things. Once you get going, you want to keep going. I'm all right though. This is great. Look back at the other mountains over here. You can't really see them because of the trees. Just imagine all the people here thousands of years ago. Yeah, it's not a straight down, but it's a pretty good slope. Here you go. Yeah, eroded. You can kind of see shell popping out of the mound right there. That's incredible. Look at that. See the white things? The shell. And we're going back down. Yeah. Be careful. All right, so there's just one more thing to see as far as the mound system out here. Walking back past the main building. I'm going to take a right at the fork. We're going to check out that that second, what was it called? Oh, I can't think of the name of it. Hold on. The sidewalk's very happy. Stella 1. Stella 1 right in front of us. Last thing to look at here as far as the mound system. So I heard a couple times back there at the museum that this had something to do with the winter and summer solstice. Right now, I think it's 6 planets are aligning in space as of yesterday, January 25th. A lot of cosmic activity. I don't know if you saw that. Wow, this is cool. Stella 1. And right here, it's saying here, I heard in the presentation, the video, that they have found a face. It looks like this is the outline. This is what I'm going to show you in a second. This is what they believe was painted on this rock. And you can kind of see it today. Carved stone slab, Stella 1, since its discovery in 1964 by archaeologist Ripley Bullen, B-U-L-L-E-N. Stella 1 has remained a mystery. In the ground near the stone, researchers found a small cache of stone tools, animal bones, and charcoal, possibly left as an offering. While some researchers felt that the face on the stela were probably carved in antiquity, others suggest the stela is entirely modern. What do you think? So, did someone come and put that on hundreds, maybe 1,000 years later, or has it always been there? Was this some sort of tribute or headstone? The unknown. That's cool. But there is, all right, here you go. It's cool that they did this, so you know this is what we're looking for. The face in the stone. All right, it's kind of, there you go. With my paper, you can see it kind of right there. You see it? There, block the sun. You see the mouth and the eyes right here. Someone has painted on this stone. The face in the stone. That's crazy. Yeah, super wicked. There you go, blocking the sun. So you can see it right there. You can definitely see a face. And the hair comes like over this way, as they're showing you right here. Huh. Believe it or not, that's creepy. Wow. This sits right off of the main burial mound, in between that and Crystal River. There's a fence over here, not sure what's going on over there. River out there. Yeah, check them out. Alright, you can see the bugs kind of flying around here. They're starting to eat me up. Woo! And as I'm walking back, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. This wasn't originally what I planned to do today. No spoilers, but that was temporarily closed on my Google Maps. So this is kind of, half of it is kind of off the cuff. So especially this, I was going to do this, but I was going to save it for another time, but the universe has aligned and it has brought me here. And I've always wanted to come here, didn't know how amazing it was, how peaceful, how beautiful, how well preserved. If I hadn't known that, I would have been here a lot sooner. But today was the day. We come in peace and we leave in peace. Respect to these people. I hope somehow, some way, we find out more about them, who they were, where they came from, where they went. Did they leave the planet? I don't know. You never know. And almost back to the parking lot over here in my car to the left. And it looks like they have boat tours available out here at the park. Hour-and-a-half tour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10:30 and 1:30. Eco Heritage Boat Tours. Monroe is a 24-passenger vessel that gives its guests an outstanding view of the coastal marsh. Riders enjoy an intriguing onboard historical narrative on the marine estuary and how it provided for the pre-Colombian people. That's awesome. Would love to do that. Maybe sometime in the much ahead. There's the information right there. And turning right here on Citrus Avenue, welcome to downtown Crystal River. Check out the manatees. Just off of 19, these old buildings have taken great shape. This has gotten a lot nicer since I first started coming out here over 10 years ago. St. John's Tavern. We've got a coffee bar. We've got a pirate up here. Check this out. This is Fish Hook Outfitters, men's and women's apparel. And then it just goes on down here. I remember renting a kayak out here many years ago with friends. Visiting a restaurant called Crackers, which is still over here on Kings Bay. Yeah, Manatee paddle. First ever kayak adventure. Rented it out of this place. Now this would have been, yeah, about 10 years ago. I think I've showed this before. I've mentioned this years ago in a video. Manatee paddle. Paddleboard sales and rentals. And then right next door, I remember this building, the Coastal Heritage Museum, which at that time, I think the last time I was here, I don't think this was a museum. That's cool. Oh, there's an old picture. Look at this. All right, this picture is Citrus Avenue in 1915. We just walked along these buildings here. Don't know. Maybe that one is the same. Can't really tell. Celebrating 100 years. The centennial was last year, 2023. It says right here in the plaque. And this used to be the city hall. And I'm gonna guess because it has a bay door. This is very common in Florida, I found. This also used to be the fire station. When does this open? I'll have to come back. Oh wow, it's completely empty. I don't know if this is a new thing or if it was an old thing, but this might be a new thing. There's nothing inside. On July 3rd, 2023, the 100th anniversary of the City of Crystal Rivers Incorporation as a city, at this location, the mayor convened a special meeting of the City Council. The mayor has issued a proclamation formally dedicating the city home of the Manatee to the residents of the City of Crystal River. Well, there you go. Welcome to the Manatee capital of the United States, or maybe the world. Check out this. Hammerhead shark there on the side of this building, right next to the old city hall. Yeah, this has gotten a lot nicer and restored down here. It looks like there's another bar and restaurant over here. And it comes down to Cane's Cattle Steakhouse, which is obviously closed on Sunday. Today is Sunday. This is really neat. Water tower at the end of the sidewalk with a manatee on it. Crystal River. Explore-da. I like that. Explore-da Adventure Center. This is a gift shop. It's closed right now, but a lot of manatee merchandise, souvenirs inside. The adventure starts here. Looks like this mural was painted by W.M. Mickey. Shout out to the artist. Like the snorkeler there. Hey, that's a fun time. I really need to do that again sometime. Look at that guy. That's a sheephead fish, Gulf fish. They taste great, also known as poor man's lobster. I've caught many of those back when I used to fish a lot. Pelican. I think that's a drum. You can tell by the dot there. Maybe a redfish. Can't remember. Not an expert. Crystal River. Wow. Oh, and there's the pier house, which is right over in Kings Bay. It's an actual pier house. I want to go up there. You know, I had to say it. Shout out to one of my favorite movies. I've been to that actual water tower in Texas. It's really cool. If you know, you know. Yeah, this whole park here on the corner, fountain, all of this is new within the last decade. Wasn't always here. I think there used to just be old buildings. Across from St. John's Tavern. Had to come out to the corner of US 19 and Citrus to see these manatees. Such beautiful, innocent creatures. The last time I was in Crystal River filming manatees, I was with Chris the girl, her parents Bob and Kathy. Chris's mom loves manatees, so we did an excursion out here, and yeah, that video's out there. That just dawned on me. That was a great day, beautiful day. I don't think these manatees were here at that time. These are fairly new. I think this is going to be the end of it. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Florida Roadside Attractions and Abandoned Places. It's only just begun. Coming up on the 5th anniversary of the series I created back in 2020, and it's some of my most favorite content to create. And there's so much ahead, as I always say. Hope you give it a thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed it. And thank you. I'll see you next time. Know you're awesome, know you're loved, and no matter who you are, what you're going through, just know that there's always much ahead. See you next time, guys. Got to get back home.